Hi, YouTubers! Thank you so much for tuning in. Cindy Curran here from Enlightenment Now, a YouTube channel for spiritual awakening and personal development. And I have a question for you all. What would you say if I told you there was a secret to being happy and feeling great about yourself all the time? Would you believe it? Would you believe that could be true? Well, I'm going to tell you it is true. And how it is true is by performing random acts of kindness. The power of kindness is so strong, particularly when you do it anonymously. It just does something to the chemistry in your body. And this video is about how that is possible, and some personal stories that I will share with you myself. I do have my cheat notes, as always, because I want to make sure I get everything in. But I do want to say the reason that it changes your body chemistry is that performing random acts of kindness actually releases two different types of brain chemicals in your brain. One is called serotonin, and one is called endorphins. Serotonin is known as the happy hormone because when it is released, it contributes to a feeling of well-being and happiness. And that actually, when that chemical is released, that can actually lift depression if somebody is in depression. And the second chemical the brain releases is called endorphins, which, when released in high levels, regulates appetite, helps relieve negative side effects of stress. It leads to a sense of euphoria, and it releases sex hormones, which can improve your sex life, which is always a good thing. Endorphins is also responsible for the runner's high that athletes get with prolonged exercises. And if you're somebody who doesn't like exercises, random acts of kindness would be the perfect solution to this. But I do recommend exercising on some form because it is healthy for the body, of course. Now, all this is true. The endorphins and the serotonin is released for both the giver and the receiver of random acts of kindness. So I'm going to share a story with you how powerful this is. I used to work as a nurse's aide in a nursing home, and there was a patient, I'll call her Maria, not her real name, and no matter what we did, not just me, the nurses, the doctors, we all tried to make her happy because she was always depressed. There was nothing that we could do to make her happy. The doctors had her on all sorts of different depression pills, trying different ones, see which one works. Some made her feel worse, but she always was sad. So one day I went in there in her room and I sat down with her after my shift and I said, Maria, what's going on? You're always so sad. You're such a nice lady, but you're always so sad. We all try to do what we can to make you happy, but nothing seems to work. And she told me two things. One, she never gets company. She did have a son. There was an issue with the daughter-in-law. I don't know if jealousy or whatever, I'm not sure what the situation was, but because of the daughter-in-law, the son would never visit her. He might visit her maybe 5 times a year, come in on Christmas, give her a present, stay for a half hour, leave, whatever it was. And she said when we came in as nurses' aides, we'd come in, we were friendly, polite, we do what we have to do, and then we were out of there. And she said that it wasn't very personal. She would love to have somebody come in and sit down, see her for her, acknowledge her, and just have a quality conversation. And the second thing that she was felt very sad about, she had been in the nursing home for about 15 years or so, give or take, and she hadn't had a Christmas tree of her own. There was a Christmas tree downstairs in the lobby for all the residents to share in the dining room, which was beautiful, and she even said it was beautiful, but she never had a Christmas tree of her own. And she liked a green Christmas tree, which downstairs it was silver, and she liked a Christmas tree with different lights that didn't blink. So I said, okay, Maria, this is what I'll do. Listen, I have the rest of us aides, me, myself, we have 12 to 15 patients that we have to take care of in less than 3 hours. And if we're short, forget it. It's unbelievable. But anyway, we don't have time to sit and have a conversation, especially in the morning, and if we're short in the afternoon, to sit down and actually talk to somebody. So this is what I'll do. After my shift, I'll come in and I'll sit down and have a conversation with you for 10 or 15 minutes. I said, while I'm doing my job, it's just impossible for me to do that. And I said, I'll decorate your room. Oh, it wasn't just Christmas, it was other decorations. She wanted her own decorations for her room for Easter, for Valentine's Day, for Christmas. So, Thanksgiving. So I said, I will make sure that you have your own decorations for your room. So the first holiday, I believe it was, it happened to be around Halloween time. So I bought her Halloween decorations. I bought her every holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I made sure she had decorations. I said, these are for you. These are your decorations. Because I got a feel of what she kind of liked to fit her taste. And I went out and I bought it. And I made sure that Christmas that she had a green Christmas tree with different color lights that did not blink. And I made sure that every day after my shift, I would sit down on her bed and we would have the most delightful conversations. And she was so grateful for that. I'd look her in the eye. We'd talk about whatever it was that she wanted to talk about. Sometimes she just wanted to talk about me. She just wanted a quality conversation. And when I couldn't do it, I would try to find an aide. Sometimes I was successful, sometimes I wasn't, but who would also do the same thing for her. Within a few months, her depression actually lifted. These little things, which sounds little to us, were huge for her. It lifted her out of her depression. Every time she saw me, she would get a great big smile. She would just like light up. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful feeling on my part. And that's all I had to do. Buy decorations, which was nothing, and make sure she had a Christmas tree on the holidays. And what's interesting is months went by and she's all happy and she's happy to see me and her depression's lifted. And I heard the doctor, she had more than one doctors, and the nurses talking about, they didn't know exactly what I was doing. I didn't go around telling people. I'm telling you because I want to get the story out there of how powerful kindness is. But so I'm not trying to brag by any means. I just want to get this message across. But the doctors and nurses were standing at the front desk complimenting each other because they finally found the right combination of pills to give her. They took all the credit. So I thought that was kind of funny. I had to kind of chuckle to myself. And another a story I have for you. I live in an apartment, and they were fairly new at one time, and we have a lake in the back. We have like a little swamp, and every year frogs would cross the road to the other side of the road. I guess they're used to it being woods or whatever, and there's a little lake on the other side of the road, so they would cross the road, and unfortunately a lot of them met untimely deaths. They get run over by cars, stepped on at night, you didn't even see them, or trapped indoors. So what I would try to do is I would take those frogs, as many as I could, and put them back in the lake. I read someplace that's not necessarily a good thing, but you should let them go about their business. But I couldn't deal with, seeing them dead in the road. And so I would kind of like help them along. And one day, a little 8-year-old girl, we'll call her Michelle, saw me, and she wanted to help me with these frogs. So I said, yeah, absolutely. It was all right with, she was staying with her grandparents, and they were neighbors of mine. They're like, oh yeah, no problem. So she would actually help me bring these frogs back to the lake. And she, every frog that she saved, I could see like this inner light glowing in her, and I could see that she was feeling really good about herself. And it was like the last frog, and she said to me, can I take the last frog? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And she took the last frog, and with such love and kindness, she put this frog into the lake, and she turned to me beaming with this glow underneath her skin and this smile just ear to ear. And she said, we're good people, aren't we? And I said, yes, Michelle, we are. We are very good people. She was so happy. The next day, and the power of kindness goes on. It has a ripple effect out. There's no way it could not have a ripple effect out. And the next day, I saw her grandparents actually, and her grandparents had a big smile on their face, and they walked over to me, and they said, they were telling me about the frogs. They said, Michelle was so happy about those frogs. She was so excited about saving those frogs. We were watching TV. We actually turned down the volume just to hear her tell her story about the frogs. So Michelle's happiness actually went to her family, to her grandparents, because it made them happy. And that was their thing, sitting around the TV, watching sitcoms or whatever. And they actually turned it down to hear Michelle's story. So, it really does have this ripple effect out. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Those are two of my stories. And, it's so important. I'm looking at my notes. I got ahead of myself. So, I want to say, pardon me. By performing random acts of kindness, you are letting your light shine. Michelle had this inner glow. It just makes you feel so good about yourself. And what you're doing, you have this inner light. Everybody has this inner light. Think of a church service if you've ever been. But in one of the church services for Christmas, they will, I don't know if all churches do this, but they'll have a candle, and everybody else will have a candle in the congregation. One person lights that candle, and then they say a prayer, and then they go to the first person and they light that person's candle, and then that person lights the other person beside them, and that person lights the other person beside them, and so on and so forth. And very soon, one by one, each candle is lit. And that's what random acts of kindness do. You take your light, you take your natural, innate, eternal inner light, and you pass it on to others. And so you're letting your light shine, and you're making your light brighter, and in the process you're making other people's light brighter too. Essentially, by performing at least one random act of kindness a day, you are making the world a more loving place to live, one kind act at a time. And Ernest Holmes has a book. He has many books, but one of the books is called The Essential Ernest Holmes, and he wrote the book Science of Mind. But this particular book that I'm talking about is called The Essential Ernest Holmes. And on 210 of that book, he says, there is a light at the center of everyone. This light is never obliterated. And Jesus said, Never put your light under a bushel, but to let it shine. And even if you don't believe in Jesus, that's okay. Just skip the word Jesus, put whatever word that is real for you, but don't put your light under a bushel. Let it shine. And one of the ways that you're going to do that, of course, is service to others, whatever that may be. Random acts of kindness. And I want to make it clear, random acts of kindness never should be about the recognition of having people compliment you, like you, or for any financial gain. It's about expanding your light. And by default, you stand in the knowingness that you are a good person. And this, in turn, will make you feel great. So that's another reason. It releases two chemicals, serotonin and endorphins. It makes you good about, it makes you feel good about yourself, and you get that aura, and people can have that sense about you. I know people who do kind things for other people, but they expect something in return, or they just want the compliments. It doesn't work that way. I always try to do random act of kindness anonymously. In fact, I have a little card. I don't have it here. I don't think. Oh, I have one. This is one. I don't know if you can see it. Pay it forward for peace. But I also have a card. Yeah, it's hard to see. But I also have a card because I have a Facebook page, Rhode Island Random Acts of Kindness Challenge, where I challenge people to go out and perform at least one random act of kindness a day. And I'll put that link down below. And what I do is when I do a random act of kindness anonymously, I leave a card. And you can have your own card. It could be a note or anything. And I leave that card letting people know that this is a random act of kindness and to please pay it forward. And, I know, like, say I leave money. I'll leave money... let's say in a department store, I'll go to Walmart and leave a $10 bill in an aisle someplace. Well, believe it or not, people are wonderful. And what they'll do is they'll return that money to customer service. Hey, I found $20. I found $10. So I don't want people to do that. So I leave a card and I say, this is a random act of kindness. Please pay it forward. Perform a random act of kindness for somebody else. So that's what I do, and and I do a lot of stuff. I might leave money for at a gas pump. I tape it to the handle of the gas pump, or there's so many different ways. I'm actually going to leave a link of different ways that you can also perform your own random act of kindness. And getting back to, it's not about recognition, into my notes, no one else needs to know. You just need to know how great you are, what a good person you are. And in the degree that you are filled with the sense of knowingness that you are a good person, that you are great, then it pours through you so that you carry it wherever you go. You then become a magnet that attracts great things into your life from all sources. Gandhi said, "The fragrant always remains on the hand that gives the rose." Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of people, even one person, thoughtful," but she goes on, "never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So it could be, you could start out as one. If anybody's ever seen that movie, Pay It Forward, you start out with one. One does a random act of kindness for somebody else, and eventually, just like the light in the candle, it grows and grows and grows. And all these people who want kindness in the world, we're putting it out there. We're putting that energy out there into the world. Okay. So another thing that I found, and I was reading, how can that be true? How can committed citizens, change the world? And how is that possible? So true to asking you shall receive, the answer came to me, and I found that answer in Wayne Dyer's CD, Choosing Your Own Greatness. Here, Dyer talks about the 100th monkey experiment. This is a philosophy where all members of a certain group or species are connected together through what is called the morphogenic fields. To prove this theory, scientists in Japan conducted a study of one particular species of monkeys. The scientists took sweet potatoes and placed them on a beach. Eventually, a monkey started washing and eating the sweet potatoes in a unique way. It started out with one monkey starting to do it, and what happened, other monkeys started to copy him or her. After the 100th monkey did this, and a certain amount of time later, it was noticed that this unique way of washing and eating sweet potatoes began to crop up in the same species of monkeys on islands 200 and 300 miles away, without, of course, the intervention of any humans. This theory was also proven in humans. It worked for the monkeys, so we have to test it on the humans. But in place of potatoes, people in America and London were shown identical videos which had hidden messages in it. Then after watching the video in two countries, after watching the video in two countries, the hidden messages were pointed out to the group in America. And afterward, the study groups in London were able to detect the messages on their own. Essentially, consciousness of America reached across the pond to London, rather. It reached across the pond to London. These studies strongly suggest that all species of humans and animals are somehow connected. Therefore, when you get to a certain number of people or animals whom think alike, then it begins to spread to the rest of the world. And we begin to act upon those collective thoughts or collective consciousness. Therefore, it is theorized that if enough people, and this is really, really important, what's going on in today's world where we talk about war and it's so negative on TV. I don't even watch TV. I try to keep my thoughts as positive as possible. I only watch happy stuff because I want to keep my thoughts on positive things, because that's a vibration. That's the energy I want to put out into the world, and like attracts like, and you become this magnet, and eventually the world will be, I do believe the world will be a better place. But this is why. It is theorized that if enough people thought of a nuclear war and believed it to be true, then a nuclear war will happen based upon what we think. However, if enough people thought of world peace and believed that to be true, then world peace will happen based upon the same principle. Ernest Holmes, who I think I've read every book he has, and I'm going to put a link to his books below too, further explains how this can happen. He says that thought is everywhere present. What is known in one place may be known in all places. And if anybody believes in psychics, there you have it. That's how they are able. Psychics are so sensitive that they're actually able to pick up vibrations. What they're doing is they're reading vibrations, and sometimes that vibration is so strong. Could be from the past, could be from the future, could be from another lifetime. The vibration is so strong that they actually can get a picture of it. But anyway, to recap, thought is everywhere present. What is known in one place may be known in all places. Time, space are, and obstructions are, time, space, and obstructions, I can't read my own writing, are unknown to mind and thought. it follows, and mind would be a God, time, eternality, whatever thought, whatever word that suits you in that. It follows that anyone tuning into our thought will enter into our stream of consciousness, no matter where we are and no matter where we may be. Time is only a measure of human experience. So, let's see. In closing, I want to say a prayer, and this prayer is, I had to summarize it. It's from Ernest Holmes. I believe it comes from his book, Science of Mind. And I stress, you can be an atheist. I'm gonna use God. Use whatever word that is real for you. Jehovah, Buddha, Krishna, the universe, just use. But for uniformity, I'm just going to use God, because God is more universally known. So I want to say, God in me is unified, in God in all. This one is now drawing into my life love, fellowship, and world peace. As I listen in the silence, the voice of all humanity speaks to me and answers the love that I hold out to it. This great love, which I now feel for the world, is the love of God. It is felt by all. It comes back to me from all. I am now surrounded by all love. I am one with life. I wait in the silence while the Great Spirit bears this message of love, world peace to the whole world. Amen. And so it is. So that's my prayer. And again, I stress, because some people are really hung up on that word God. They don't believe in the man God, and that's fine. That's what Science of Mind is. They don't believe in a man God either. There's a power, there's this eternal energy. If you think of the ocean, and you think symbolically, say the ocean is God, and within the ocean you have all these different species and plants and all things that's going on, but that water of the ocean permeates everything. But there's different individualizations of beings in the ocean, and it's the same thing for my belief in God anyway. Is the ocean of God. He's everywhere present. There's no place that God is not. So that's my belief in God. So don't be afraid of that word God. But if you believe in that man God in the sky, and that's great too. Whatever is real for you, use that. So in closing, this is my challenge to you all. I challenge you to perform a random act of kindness without wanting anything back, preferably anonymous if you can. Sometimes that's difficult. If a situation arises and you're able to do it and people know that you do it, then more power to you. But have a card, have a piece of paper that says you have been gifted a random act of kindness. Please pay this act forward, or something of your choosing, or something along those lines, so people know. So we're paying it forward, essentially, and you're not getting anything back. And it's such a good feeling, and I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's bring some light. If anybody has any questions, please leave your comment below. I would love to answer your questions. Or if there's a video that you would like to see me cover, maybe there's something in this video you don't quite understand, you don't quite get, I can explain that to you, maybe in the comment section, or do another video. Well, I'll definitely answer you back in the comment section. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you like this video, please like and share it, and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see the videos as they come in. When you subscribe, it goes directly to your email, so you'll know every time I do a new video. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. May you live long and prosperous. Have a great, wonderful day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.